So today is tax day, and I'm guessing that a few of you who are watching this and many people around the state are rushing around trying to meet the deadline to get your tax forms in. Which leads me to talk a little bit about taxes and what it means to have a decent society. The fact is that we have to all pay our fair share to have roads, schools, and all the things that we take for granted on a daily basis. But what's happened is that more of the burden through property taxes and a tax system that's become not progressive, it's all moved the burden increasingly on the middle class. The top 1%, the elite, are paying less of taxes than they should be historically, and that's wrong. And if I'm a United States Senator, I'm going to fight to make sure that that burden is lifted off the middle class and shared more fairly throughout our society. But I really want to talk about priorities today. Because, you know, I don't mind paying taxes if it's going to build roads and putting people into good schools, paying for good telecommunication systems, making sure we have a safety and health system, a food safety system that protects us. All those things are good things. Which leads me to talk about Afghanistan. You know, taxpayers in New York will have paid since 2001, if you look at it proportionally, about $26 billion out of their pockets to fund the war in Afghanistan, an immoral and foolish war. For that money and the money that is paid by taxpayers everywhere, we could have health care for people. For 1 year in New York, for example, we could have 4.9 million people covered. Pay for their health care. We could have public safety officers who are looking out for our streets in rural communities and cities. We could have more teachers. We could have Pell Grants that put kids through college. We could have more affordable housing. But instead we're taking these billions of dollars, hard-earned money, and just throwing it away for a stupid and immoral war in Afghanistan. Now I'm going to talk more about this in the coming weeks because there's a vote coming up for increasing the funding for the war in Afghanistan, something on the order of $30 to $35 billion. I have said before that I will oppose any funding of the Afghanistan war for offensive action. Not a single dime will I vote for offensive military action in Afghanistan. I will only support money that's going to withdraw our troops in a timely fashion. My opponent, Kirsten Gillibrand, supports the war funding and will continue to support throwing away the dollars that should be used, the hard-earned dollars that you've earned working every single day, the hard-earned dollars that should be used to funding teachers, schools, roads, and the things that make for a decent society, not for an immoral war. So that's my commitment to you. That's what I'll fight for, and that's what I'm going to make sure your tax dollars are used for. Not for a crazy war in Afghanistan, but for things that make for a healthy society.